Welcome back to Bethel Mortgage. We are perfect so far. We are I went 2-0-1. Zach went 3-0 last week. So he got first pick, but it didn't even matter because he got 3 picks that I didn't even want. So we just got some good picks this week. But make sure you follow along. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. You're gonna get all our content over there. Last week we did a TikTok and YouTube short special. We didn't have a full video on Bet the Mortgage. We will have it. Obviously, you're watching it now this week. But yeah, we are recording this Wednesday night. So if any of these lines change before Friday morning when these go out, that explains it. But Zach, you got anything before we get into it?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, just make sure you're following along because obviously we know what we're talking about. Obviously, with me saying that, we are now going to go 0 for 6.
Wait,
So
so you went 3-0-1
I went 2
or
0 and 1.
2-0-1. What was your one?
I had North Carolina -2. They won 19-17 against Minnesota.
Also as a push. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you obviously went 3-0, so you hit it. You hit everything you went. And then the 2-0, obviously. So go watch the last video if you didn't already. I guess it doesn't matter now, but I think it's pretty entertaining. Or those shorts, yeah, because we didn't post a video. But yeah, so Zach, since you got first pick, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, so this week looking at it, I didn't see anything that really stuck out to me like the what did I have last week? The North Dakota State
Mhm.
spread, um, the uh, had the Penn State spread, and
And then the
then
Oklahoma State
the
spread.
Oklahoma State spread. So all those really stuck out to me. North Dakota State spread is a little iffy, but I did believe, and obviously it did happen. Penn State and the Oklahoma State spread were huge for me. To start off, we're going right back, right? Oklahoma State versus Arkansas. Oklahoma State is favored by, I believe, 7.5. At least they were. That's where I picked up the line at. Yep. So 7.5 favorite versus Arkansas. Now, Arkansas is an SEC team, and so that is why I feel like the line is where it is. But this is the same Arkansas. They got spanked by Missouri, spanked by Auburn, 7-3 against Mississippi State. This is an Arkansas team that doesn't play that's kind of football that Oklahoma State, or doesn't play well against the kind of football Oklahoma State plays. Oklahoma State's not going to throw the ball very often, to be honest with you. Their quarterback is all right. He's a good 7 out of 10 type quarterback, but when you have Ollie Gordon back there and you have a defense like they do, they're just going to try to swarm you for most of the game and then hand it off or throw a little screen pass to Ollie and just have him run all over you, right? And so that's the kind of football that really doesn't get played that often in the SEC. And so one, Arkansas, I don't think is very used to it. But two, as you see, when they play teams like Missouri and teams like Auburn, they're not very good against it. And they're not a team that's going to score a lot of points, but I feel like Oklahoma State is. I think Oklahoma State wins this game by minimum of 10, which would obviously hit my spread, but 14 or 17 also definitely could be, or even 20 up there.
Yeah, I think this spread started out when I was looking at it, what would have been Sunday night. I think Oklahoma State was favored by like 9 or 9.5. I think it's shrunk since then. I thought about taking Arkansas just because I think they have an exciting quarterback. But yeah, I think Oklahoma State's definitely the better team, and I think Oklahoma State's going to win. So you could definitely be right there. My first pick is another SEC team. Um, this time I'm taking the SEC team, Texas -7 over Michigan. I think Texas is just so much better. Michigan struggled last week. Their defense played extremely well. Their defense is really good. Not going to take a big step down from last year. But I just don't think it matters. I think Michigan on offense, Donovan Edwards had like 10 carries for 27 yards last week, averaged obviously that's like 2.7 yards a carry. And I think in the first half he was averaging like 1 yard per carry. Just wasn't doing very good. And then Alex Orji, I think, is Michigan's best quarterback, but even then he really can't throw the ball. So not worried about it there. And then obviously on the other side you have Quinn Ewers. So not worried about Texas doing anything on offense. They're gonna have some troubles. It's gonna be close for a bit, but I think Texas runs away with it. I think Texas wins by 14 plus. Another note: make sure you follow me on Twitter because I got this line at 5.5 very early in the week on Sunday night and posted about it. But I still feel good about 7. It reached like 8.5 at one point, I think, and that was kind of pushing it for me. But it's gone all the way back down to 7. So I'd like Texas. Probably I would take it all the way up to 8. Once it hits that 8.5, I'm kind of iffy on it because anything can happen with a good defense like Michigan's. But -7, I think, is easy for me.
Yeah, so here's the reason I actually didn't like that line is they're in the big house, right? Not only are they in the big house, every college football show is literally every
Yeah,
college football show is there. The only reason I know that is because I was waiting for one to go to the Nebraska Colorado games, so I'm going to be there, and none of them decided to. So Barstool's going to be there. Big Noon Kickoff's going to be there. Obviously, College Game Day is going to be there. I think there's another one that's going to be there as well. Uh, and Texas is a good team, but Texas last year kind of struggled in some of those hostile environments. If you look at Texas went to Houston, another team that they were vastly better than, 131-24. Texas went to TCU, a TCU team last year that was not really that good at all, 129-26. Texas went to a bad Iowa State team last year and won 26-16. These are all teams that they are way better than. The margin is way bigger than it's going to be this weekend. Michigan is much better than all these teams, and so you have that. Plus, you have Michigan has a really good defense, and so I do think Texas is going to come out and win this game. But don't be surprised if it is like a 29-26 or 24-21. So that's why I stayed away from it. I do personally like Texas to win this game, but not necessarily to cover the spread here.
yeah, yeah. Fair
That's
enough.
why that's why I stayed away from it. Um, but my next pick, I do like this a lot. It's K State -9.5 against
Tulane.
Tulane, and so Tulane is a really good team.
I think
Um,
Tulane beat them last year.
Tulane, I think you're right. Tulane might have beat them last year. Um, but I do think that this Kansas State team um, could be better this year than I don't know if they played Tulane last year. They did not play Tulane last year. Um,
Okay, so it must have been 2 years ago then.
yeah.
Because I know they have beat them. I know Tulane did beat them one year.
But this K State team is what I think to be a whole lot better than last year's K State team. I think they actually got an upgraded quarterback. I think Avery Johnson is better for them than Will Howard. I think Will Howard flourishes in an offense like he is at Ohio State, where he has a bunch of weapons to choose from. At Kansas State, he really didn't. He kind of had to make up his own offense. He's not very great at that. He tends to panic and make bad decisions. Avery Johnson's really good at making up his own stuff. He's a very creative type of player. Their defense is very good. Their run game and their receivers are very good. Tulane is good. I just don't think they're, that. I don't think they're as good as they were last year, or even 2 years ago. I think they had a really good run, but with the transfer portal and with NIL, being in a group of five, you're just not going to get, the type of long-term success that a lot of these guys will. I think that's what Tulane's starting to.
Their coach left too, Willie Fritz. He went to
Right.
Houston.
So exactly. And that as well, their coach left. Um, and so I do think that K-State kind of handles this game. I think it's a 31-34-17 type of game. I think they're always in the driver's seat and I think they stay there. And so I definitely think this covers.
Yeah. So my next one is a money line pick. I had a money line pick last week with Notre Dame, ended up cashing for you guys. So I got Syracuse money line over Georgia Tech. This is probably my favorite play of the week. I don't think Georgia Tech's that good. They're boosted up by a week 0 win over Florida State. That obviously doesn't look as good anymore. Florida State just got bodied by Boston College. Syracuse is tough to game plan for. They have a lot of new players. They have a whole new coaching staff. Kyle McCord is the big one that came over to Syracuse, and he played really well last week. So I think Syracuse is more talented, and I think they win this. You could take Syracuse plus I think 2.5. I think Georgia Tech is favored by 2.5, but I like the money line straight up. I think Syracuse wins this kind of handily.
Yeah, so my next one is my final one, I guess. I picked it last year. One of these teams I picked 3 or 4 times last year. Missed it just once. And that is the Iowa State, the old Cyhawk game, under 35 and a half. And so a lot of these games that we've been talking about one team scoring over 30 points. Well, in this game, I mean, you're looking at 13 to 10,
Yeah.
17 to 10 type of win here. I don't think either team gets over 20 points. And so it's essentially impossible for, this over to hit 17, 17, 20, even 20 to 17, which would be a high scoring game for them, would just barely crack it. And so, yeah, I don't think this overhits. I think the under smashes here. Stay tuned for multiple Iowa State unders this year. You got to keep them to a down low because, or else I'd just be stealing money from the country out here, and got to give a little back here.
Yeah. So actually, last week Iowa scored 40 points, but that was without Kirk Ferentz. So now Kirk Ferentz is coming back. So
I was about
obviously,
to France and against a very bad
right.
Illinois State.
Yeah,
Um,
they're. I think they're like the top. I think they're like number 20 FCS team, and it was like 0-0 at halftime. Not 0-0, but I think it was like 7-0 at halftime. So, yeah, not good at all. But my last pick is another pick that I really love, and another one that if you followed me on Twitter, you got at a discount. Tennessee -8 over NC State. I got it at -6.5 early on Sunday. But yeah, now it's obviously moved all the way to 8. I think Tennessee has no problems in this one. I mean, if I could take Tennessee, I might take a Tennessee alternate line -20. I think Tennessee is just going to kill them. Nico, their quarterback, looked phenomenal last week. Obviously, they were playing Chattanooga, but NC State was playing Western Carolina, who Chattanooga only lost to by 2 points last year. And I think Western Carolina was winning in the third quarter. So I love Tennessee this year. Tennessee looks great. One of my biggest rules is bet on continuity early in the year. NC State, Grayson McCall, although I like him as a quarterback, he's a transfer, still, getting his feet wet. NC State brought in some other transfer guys. They have a good coach over there with Dave Doeren, but I think Tennessee with Josh Heupel and Nico with a year in the system is just too tough. And I might have them in my playoff at the end of the year. I think Tennessee's that good. So their offense is going to roll in this one, and NC State's offense just isn't that good. So -8 is pretty easy for me. I got it at -6.5. So that's really really easy for me. But yeah, as I said, I think Nico just goes off in this game, and I think Vegas is kind of banking on him struggling a little bit just because he's a redshirt freshman. But the system is just set up perfectly for him to succeed. So I think he rolls in this one.
yeah, one thing I want to say to close this out, if I were to go 3-0 this week and end up 6-0, I know the smart thing for me to do would to be look at every week and be like, what are the locks, right? What are the locks that I can get away with picking? And stay on that line of come on, Zach, that's an easy pick. But also be like, okay, I guess it's kind of fair. That would be the easy thing to do, but definitely not what I'm here to do. I'm here for the big money. I'm here to be the guy that gives you picks that you don't see when you're scrolling through DraftKings or FanDuel or whatever it is. And so, even if I just a little disclaimer, even if I go 6-0 to start the first 6 games, I'm still throwing the risks. I'm still trying to hit the home runs, and so. If I end up not missing a game and you pick every single one of them, just know that by the end of this year, you probably won't need a job.
Yeah, yeah. Did you already do all 3 years?
Yeah, that's all three of mine.
Okay. Another one that I wanted to shout out that is not officially on my bet slip, so it won't count towards the record. I think Oregon -19.5 against Boise State is pretty nice. I think Oregon comes out trying to prove something this week after their close game with Idaho State, or I think it was
Idaho.
Idaho State.
Idaho.
Yeah, Idaho. Um, I think they come out and prove something. I think they're much more talented than Boise State, and I think they roll in that one. But that is not official, so that is
Yeah.
not going to count for
Everyone,
me.
everyone knows if you watched me last year that I stay away from pretty much anything over 14 on the
Yeah.
spread. I don't
No,
like
it's
it.
tough. It's tough.
I hate the people that are picking, Georgia -45.5 over, Georgia Christian University, and
Right.
then it ends up, 43 to
Yeah, 44 to 1 or 44 to 3. Yeah.
yeah,
Doesn't
like
cover.
yeah, it doesn't cover. And so, those are my least favorite picks. Everyone thinks they're free money. And, those are the ones that, you guys as casual bettors can definitely stay on. I, as a professional, will definitely stay off.
Yeah, as soon as you win a bet, fun fact, you're a professional bettor. So, yeah, make sure you follow us on our socials. We'll be posting all the clips over there. That's where we get most of our views for this. So make sure you look at those. More fast paced for sure. But if you want to get all the insight, make sure you watch these videos, which you're obviously doing right now. Make sure you follow us on our socials as well to keep up with our record all year and to keep up with Big Red Radio as well. If you're interested in that, we do that as well. So, yeah, Zach, you got anything else?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, we will see you next week.